Jannik Sinner withdrew from the Paris Masters 1000 due to illness. World number 1 Jannik Sinner will miss the Paris tournament for the second consecutive year after contracting a stomach virus prior to his arrival in France. The Italian tennis player, currently ranked as the top player in the world, had to withdraw from the Masters 1000 in Paris, which began on Monday, due to an intestinal virus. The tournament organizers made the announcement on Tuesday. Despite this setback, Sinner is still guaranteed to finish the season as the number 1 ranked player. His place in the tournament will be taken by French player Arthur Cazaux, who will face either fellow Frenchman Corentin Moutet or American Ben Shelton in the second round. Due to contracting the stomach virus before arriving in Paris, Sinner had to withdraw, despite his strong desire to participate, the tournament organizers stated in a press release. The Italian is expected to return to competition at the ATP Finals in Turin from November 11 to 17, his primary objective for the season's end. This prestigious tournament brings together the top 8 players of the year. Additionally, he is expected to participate in the Davis Cup Finals next week in Malaga, Spain, where Italy will defend its title as reigning champion. Sinner has had a remarkable 2024 season, capturing his first 2 Grand Slam titles at the Australian Open and the US Open. In total, he has won 7 tournaments this season, including 3 Masters 1000 events, Miami, Cincinnati, and Shanghai. However, his season has not been without controversy, as he faces a potential suspension due to a doping case that emerged this past summer following an appeal by the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA. Sinner's unexpected absence stirs controversy. Sinner's sudden withdrawal from the Rolex Paris Masters lineup has drawn criticism from tournament organizer Cedric Pillon. The end of the tennis season is approaching, and while it is already known that Sinner will finish 2024 atop the ATP rankings, many fans had hoped to see him play in Paris. However, just hours before his debut at the Rolex Paris Masters, Sinner announced his definitive withdrawal. Pillon expressed his thoughts in an interview with Uba Tennis. "It's not for me to judge anyone. Every player, including Jannik Sinner, organizes their season as best they can. In fact, Jannik is one of those who has managed his schedule in a logical way, without overloading it, so I was pretty certain he would come to compete here. High-level athletes are more vulnerable towards the end of the season, and setbacks can happen in these final months. Bad luck for us? Probably." The former world number 5 didn't hold back when pointing out what he believes to be the underlying issues behind Sinner's absence. "The circuit's geopolitics involve many things, and I can tell you that it's a topic currently under debate among Grand Slam tournaments, the ATP, and the WTA. We don't know what the future will hold, but from my perspective, we'll have to ensure coherence. The money coming in from Saudi exhibitions is disruptive, it destabilizes the ecosystem and is not very healthy." In other words, Pillon suggests that if Sinner hadn't traveled to Riyadh, he would likely be playing in his tournament. His frustration is rooted in the fact that Sinner was a major draw for a lineup that also saw stars like Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic opt out to play in Saudi Arabia. Top contenders left standing in the Rolex Paris Masters. Following Sinner's withdrawal, another top player, Russia's Daniil Medvedev, was eliminated after a hard-fought match against Australian Alexei Popyrin, ranked number 24, with a scoreline of 6-4, 2-6, 7-6-4. With Medvedev's exit, the serious contenders for the Paris title are Carlos Alcaraz, Alexander Zverev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Grigor Dimitrov, Holger Rune, and Jack Draper. Sinner joins the elite list alongside the Big Three. The 2024 season for Jannik Sinner, regardless of what happens at the upcoming ATP Finals and Davis Cup, is already one for the books. The close of the regular tournaments positions the Italian as the undisputed number 1 in the world rankings, with 2 Grand Slam titles to his name and a reputation for being incredibly difficult to beat on the court. If we had to point to one quality that sets Sinner apart, it would likely be his consistency. Over the past 2 decades, this extraordinary level of reliability has been seen mainly in the Big Three. It was this attribute that set them apart from the rest, the ability to maintain top performance across different locations, surfaces, and continents. Data underscores that Jannik Sinner is achieving numbers reminiscent of the sport's greatest players. The remarkable list Jannik now joins. In 2024, Sinner has joined a list that includes only 3 names: Novak Djokovic, Rafael Nadal, and Roger Federer. In the past 34 years, no other player has matched their consistency. Until Sinner's dazzling season. This year, the Italian became only the 4th player since the ATP Tour's creation in 1990 to reach the quarterfinals in every tournament he played. His company in this list? Just take a look and consider the magnitude of his achievement. Players WHO reached the quarterfinals in every tournament played in a calendar year. 2005, Roger Federer, 14 of 14, champion in Doha, Rotterdam, Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami, Hamburg, Halle, Wimbledon, Cincinnati, US Open, and Bangkok, semi-finalist at the Australian Open and Roland Garros, quarterfinalists in Monte Carlo. 2011, Novak Djokovic, 14 of 14, champion at the Australian Open, Dubai, Indian Wells, Miami, Belgrade, Madrid, Rome, Wimbledon, Canada, and US Open, finalist in Cincinnati, semi-finalist at Roland Garros and Basel, quarterfinalists in Paris-Bercy. 2015, Novak Djokovic, 15 of 15, champion at the Australian Open, Indian Wells, Miami, Monte Carlo, Rome, Wimbledon, US Open, Beijing, Shanghai, and Paris-Bercy, finalist in Dubai, Roland Garros, Canada, and Cincinnati, quarterfinalists in Doha. 2018, Rafael Nadal, 9 of 9, champion in Monte Carlo, Barcelona, Rome, Roland Garros, and Canada, semi-finalist at Wimbledon and US Open, quarterfinalists at the Australian Open and Madrid. 2024, Jannik Sinner, 14 of 14, champion at the Australian Open, Rotterdam, Miami, Halle, Cincinnati, US Open, and Shanghai, finalist in Beijing, semi-finalist at Indian Wells, Monte Carlo, and Roland Garros, quarterfinalists in Madrid, Wimbledon, and Canada. The big question on everyone's mind is whether Jannik Sinner is truly prepared to maintain this trajectory. His remarkable concentration, even amid the turbulence surrounding his off-court matters, suggests he may continue achieving historically consistent performances. While the legacy of the Big Three still looms large, it's clear that Jannik is doing everything he can to carve his own golden chapter in tennis history. And raising the bar for anyone hoping to challenge him. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, because at Tennis Zone we are dedicated to bringing you the best information for the best audience, sharing in-depth analysis, exclusive interviews, and comprehensive coverage of everything related to the world of tennis. Join our community and be part of the excitement of the tournaments with us. Additionally, at Tennis Zone, we strive to offer you updated and high-quality content about players, tournaments, strategies, and the most relevant events in the world of tennis.